Hey, fourth graders, we are back to our normal flipped videos to prepare us and get us ready for math and the lesson for live math later this morning. So let's get to it. I'm going to share my screen. And today, this video is going to be for 2-13. I would like you to have your math workbooks out. That's your regular math workbooks. I am on page 75. The reason I want you to be following along with me is because we're just going to be looking together and going over 3 methods for multiplication. I'm also going to be doing some highlighting, so please feel free to highlight along with me if you would like. I'm going to use my handy marker, and here we go. So remember that we are now talking and working with 2-by-2 multiplication equations. So all the methods that we look at today are reviewing and getting us ready for that shortcut method in 2-by-2. We've been working with area models for 2-by-2, and so the first one that we've really only been practicing, that we will continue to practice with, is the place value sections method. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. This is the first method. Okay? This should look very familiar to you. And what I want you to look at here is you have your equation. All of them that we're going to look at this morning are how to solve 43 times 67. So remember, place value, we're broken up into 2-by-2, right? We've got our 4 places so that we can find the partial products that we're eventually going to add up to find our total, okay? So when we have place value sections, we've taken our 2 numbers, we've taken 43 and 67. And we're using that place value. We're looking in the tens place. There are 4 tens, which makes it 40. And there are 3 ones, which we put down here. 40 plus 3 is 43. Same with 67. We're looking in the place values. 6 tens is 60 plus the ones, which is 7. 60 plus 7 is 67. That's how we're getting those numbers broken up. Then we're just taking it kind of like our multiplication chart, and we're thinking 40 times 60 fits into this section. We know our 4 times 6 is 24, and we have 2 tens, so we're putting our 2 zeros. I'm not going to go through every section. I'm just reviewing that this is how we do the place value section method. Over here on the right, you can see each section has just been written out for us, because then it has the partial products that are all getting added together to come up with the total product, which is 2,881. Okay, so again, place value sections method. Let's look at the next one. Scooch this up a little bit. Number 2 is the expanded notation method. Okay, this is our second one. Now, we haven't exactly looked at it with our 2-by-2, but we did a lot of work with it in our 1-by-2. It's the same thing. Here's our problem, 43 times 67. Again, breaking them up, it's a 2-by-2 still. So we have our tens plus our ones for each number. We have our partial products in each section. And this is the part that looks a little bit different, right? So then we have each number broken up. We've got our 67. It's just showing this one is the one that stretches. Remember, expanded, this word really works on the stretching it all out. So we've got 60 plus 7 is 67, and 40 plus 3 is 43. This one I really like because remember we talked about it sets up the multiplication problem as that real traditional 2 by 2. This is what we're eventually going to get to for the shortcut. Okay? Then as we get here, now it's doing the sections again. So it's doing the tens. So now it's multiplying 60 by 40, and you're getting your partial product. And then you're doing the 10 by the 1, the other 10 by, the 10 by the 1, and then the 2 ones, right? So you can see that kind of is over here because you do 40 times 60. You can kind of see these lines. And then the 40 has to go all the way over here to the 1. That's for this section. Then you go down to the next number. That's going to be the 3, the 1 times the 60. That's going to get you this section. And then the 3 has to go all the way over and do the 1 here. Okay? So it's got 3 times 7. And so again, it's broken them all up. You do get partial products. They're so similar. Remember that we've talked about that. So similar. All right. Let's look at the third method. The third method, algebraic notation method. This is number 3. And this one, remember, uses the associative property. So we have parentheses, and the parentheses is what lets us know that it's the associative, and we have to do what's in parentheses first, right? So again, we still have the same equation, 43 times 67. The place values are still broken up. We're still 2 by 2, 2 by 2, right? So our square and our area model is looking very, very similar. This one, it sets it up horizontally. Remember the dot means multiply. So it's first showing the equation, and it's showing it in this form, 43 times 67. Now it's going to break it up and using parentheses. So it wants us to do 40 plus 3 times 60 plus 7. All it is doing is stretching each of the factors, the numbers up, and putting them in the parentheses. Okay? Then it's going to start adding these all together. This one is doing the tens. So you've got your 40 times 60, 2400 plus 40 times 7 is 280 plus 3 times 60 is 180 plus 3 times 7 is 21. This one's a little simplified. It doesn't break it down and show this like these equations. It just puts the partial products, and then it gets the total product in the end. Okay? All right. This one I'd like you to answer on your own. You can do it when we're done with our little lesson, but it says, what is alike about all 3 methods? So I want you to jot something down. I'm going to move on, but I do want you to come back to this one. So please do number 1 on page 75. All right, we're going to flip to the back side. And I think, so we are getting to the shortcut method. And the shortcut method, I'm actually going to skip this, and I'm going to skip down here. This is the 4th section, the shortcut method. I think that I may go into my notebook now because I think that's going to be easier for me to show you. But I will show you, and I'm only going to show you the new groups above right now. I believe that most of us in our class record our new groups above on top of the numbers. So I'll check in with you guys about that, but let's check it out. We're going to go step by step. This is showing our new groups above. Same problem, you guys, 67 times 43. It's going to really break this up simply. I'm going to cover up the 4 as if it's not there. I'm going to pretend it's a 1 by 2. Okay, and I'm just going to solve that problem. 7 times 3 is 21. So my 1 goes down and my new group 2 goes on the top. Okay, moving on. My 3, I'm going to circle it. Now has to go diagonally, right? So I'm saying 6 times 3, that's 18, plus my 2 new groups above I have to add. So this is 18, 19, 20, and I write it down because there's nothing else to do, right? Step 3, I'm ready to jump over to the 4. So what I'm going to do is I like to actually cross the 3 out, and I'm going to the second row, but I'm going to put an X to hold the place there. No number gets to go there. Now the 4 is in charge, starting in step 3. The 4 goes diagonally first. It has to go over to the 1s. So 4 times 7 is 28. My 8 comes down, and I show my 2 new groups up on the top, okay? Then the 4 gets to go to the 6. It goes diagonally. 4 times 6 is 24, plus my 2 new groups above. So 24, 25, 26. I apologize, that should have been over here on step 4. So 26, I get to write it all down because there's nothing else to carry and make new groups for. Okay, now you'll see over here, we've drawn a line and we're going to add these two together. Once we add them together, we'll get our total, which is 2,881. This is that answer we've been getting all along in our other area model styles. Okay, this I think is what I'd like to show you again. I think what we're going to do is, now that you've kind of looked at this, the new groups above for the shortcut method, just kind of look through that. When we start live today, this is where we're going to start. So we'll be using our spiral notebooks or our whiteboards, and we'll really be practicing with the shortcut method for our 2x2s. Okay? All right, you guys, I will see you soon for live math.